Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our Surefire webinar. John Caldwell will go ahead and get started. This is a product that is amazing. It's really gonna make your life easier. So if you guys have any questions, please, while he's talking, just give them, put them on the chat. And really, it's an amazing product. Thank you for being here. And John, whenever you're ready.
April, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me? Let's do a quick audio, make sure that we're coming through okay. Victor, how are you? Can you hear, is the audio coming through all right?
Yes, it sounds pretty good. Everyone, if we got a question panel on your right side of your screen. If you got any questions, please write it down on that panel. And if the audio quality is good, just let us know through the question panel.
Okay, and I will keep an eye at on that question panel. And I'm happy to answer questions as we go. I will kind of keep rolling unless, excuse me, there's the questions. Are we doing it on the chat or the questions, Victor?
It's on the questions, and Brian is telling us the audio, it's good.
Okay. I haven't seen anything there yet, but you keep me informed, Victor, if there's a question that doesn't pop up on mine and I need to address, okay?
Sure. Let's get started.
Right. Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. As April mentioned, this is a very interesting product. Today we are going to be spending some time going over this product. We're going to talk about what it does, its value proposition for you guys, how it's unique, general overview, and we'll also talk about some use cases and how people are using it to not only save them a lot of money, but also even to kind of revamp how they're doing their business and become more effective and more competitive in their market. I have the wonderful opportunity of being able to go out and integrate with installers every day. I get to see what they're doing. I was yesterday at one that was very interesting. They were involved in using it, connecting to a Wi-Fi relay, and then I'm going out to another one later on today for a pivot irrigation system. So there's a lot of really interesting things happening with this product, but most importantly, this product actually delivers on its promises. This product can do things that nobody else can do. So we're going to go over that a little bit. I'm excited to be with you here today, and we'll just get rolling. Let me get over to, here we go. All right, so the Surefire Radio, this we look at as a platform. We have 25 patents on this radio, and this radio is unique in the industry. You know, you'll always get people who will promise a certain amount of range, but this is the first time that I've actually seen that that people have actually been able to test the radio and prove that it works at the ranges that it's been and further than it's been claimed. So we work through heavy obstruction, concrete, glass, steel, all of that. A mile range through obstruction and 50 miles range of sight or line of sight, and that's really a big claim. When I first came to the company, I thought, oh, there's no way that really works, which is part of the reason why at the end of this webinar, we're going to instruct you how to go into Surefire and get your own testing unit so you can have confidence in using this. You know, you can come to Epcom, Syscom, and they have these radios and these control platforms, and you can prove to yourself and to your clients and those who you work with that this really does work. It also is encrypted. We've used it in police, fire stations, airports, things like that. We also have multipath, so it goes a lot of different directions. And this evaluation kit that I was talking about is something, and I'm going to go back just, let's see if I can go back there. Now this evaluation kit is something where you can take it out and you can put one end in your control panel, and you can walk out to the other end of the job, or you can drive down the street and you can push the button and you can see the signal strengthen so that you can be confident that that will work for your job. All right, now, and we're going to show you at the end, basically, you just need to get on the website, put in your information, and as long as you're in the continental United States, we can send you we'll send you free of charge an evaluation kit. So, all right, so what does Surefire provide for you? All right, there's an integrator value proposition, and that means why is it helpful to you? there's thousands, I don't know, maybe even millions of products out there, but why does Surefy help you? First of all, it helps you outbid the competition, not just in the expense, because when you go and do a bid, they're going to say, okay, how much does it cost? Of course. But the next question is always, when can you do it? So not only is it less expensive to do it with Surefy, but it's also faster, a lot faster. So you can say, instead of, yeah, we can do it in 3 or 4 weeks, we can do it next week, or we can do it in 4 days, because you know your other jobs are going to get done fast because you're using Surefy. The next thing is it multiplies your star installers. It means you have guys that are well trained, you know what you're doing, you know how to set limits, you know how to program controllers, you know how to do all of that. And then what happens is we have them go up and wire things, and then we tell them to dig holes through the ground or bend conduit. And the reality is they can be making you a lot more money. All right, the next thing it does is it helps you get your jobs done faster so you can get more bids. We already talked about that a little bit, but it's very simple. If you do more jobs and you win more bids, your company does better. You can be confident with the product. We have such a high success and reliability rate that our installers love this product. Also, it allows you to do something that people don't even think about. A lot of times people will give a bid, and let's say this bid is at an HOA, a housing, let's say a large apartment complex. I was actually at one of these last week, and he had given the bid to them twice, and every time they said, no, it's too expensive, we can't do it. But because he gave them the bid with trenching involved, because he had to trench between all these apartment buildings. This place was a very large apartment complex. And so they called him again for the third bid. And on the third bid, he had Surefy in his pocket. And he goes into the bid and he says, now instead of that bid costing $50,000 and $30,000 in trenching and wiring and conduit, we can do it just for $50,000 because now we have Surefy. So you can go back to your old bids that have said, no, it's too expensive, or no, I can't do it, or we'll have to save more money, or whatever. You go back to those dead files and you can go back to them and say, now I can do it because of new technology for a lot less expensive. So those are the reasons why the integrators that I have worked with and talked to have been changing how they do things. They don't need as many employees because they can more efficiently do the jobs, and they're not digging holes. They are winning more bids because they are outbidding their competition with time and expense, and they're revisiting their dead files. And this guy I just talked to in Vegas a little while back, he's picking up 60% of his dead file. That's really an amazing resource of work you've already done. You can move forward with those jobs. So we currently have the Wiegand wireless bridge, which a lot of you are familiar with. It has relays and Wiegand inputs. We have an HVAC, which does 24-volt systems, 24-volt AC, and it's used for HVAC for a lot of large warehouses, rooftop units, that kind of thing. But it also is used for some kind, 24-volt is also how they connect with commercial irrigation systems like golf courses and things like that. We have a relay bridge, which is just like the Wiegand, minus the Wiegand. It has the 2 relays each direction. And then we have the analog bridge, which does variable controls and sensors, variable milliamp, variable voltage, variable thermistor. And that allows you to open dampers, it allows you to receive sensors in building automation systems or oil and gas applications. So a lot of great things on our current products. We're going to spend some time today on the Wiegand specifically because that's where most of you will be using this product. Most of you are doing access control, though I know that some people spread out into a lot of different areas. But the Wiegand allows you to input any Wiegand protocol into it. It sends it back and forth. It's just like basically we're replacing the wire. We're not our own program. We are agnostic to system, meaning we can work with anybody. All we do is we take that wire that's in between, we cut it, and we put in a wireless bridge that is reliable through heavy obstruction, encrypted, all those things we talked about. So you have a Wiegand input. You have 2 relays going each direction, which means that at a door, if you want to put in a door position sensor or a door alarm or a mag lock or a request to exit button or any of those things, you can send that via the relays each direction, and that can be either wet or dry. All right, you also have no trenching, conduit, or drilling. This means that you can, in about 15 minutes, you can wire that thing up and be done at each location. It's really very quick, and people who are starting to use a lot of them, they just say, forget it, I am not wiring anything anymore. I'm not bending conduit, I'm not drilling through buildings, I'm not digging holes. It saves you so much time. It also, in extreme situations, is daisy chain capable. That means you can connect them together to increase the range. And it doesn't happen very often because the Surefire signal is very robust. It's very strong. But every once in a while, like you'll have somebody who is, 15 or 20 miles away and they want to put two together, and that's fine. So it does give you a lot of options as an installer on how to create solutions for your problems. Let me talk to you a little bit about some of the ways it's been used. This is a map of a municipality, just a city, that had, in the red dots you can see, they had access control in some major buildings in that area. 7 buildings, the city hall, a library, a fire station, utility control places, and they already had access control there. And you can see that in the circles around there, it's a blue circle with some pink on it. Those circles are how far their range would reach. And so they wanted to add access control to all of their street lights, and they wanted to add access control to their parks and their shooting range and all these things, and even their water monitoring stations. And they could do that without having to put a separate standalone system. They just were able to piggyback on what they already did and send that signal wirelessly to all those red dots where the access control system already was. So just an interesting application. We've also used them on elevators to increase security. This allows you to require the card access even on the outside before they call the elevator, so there's not someone sitting in the elevator when someone calls to another floor, for example. So that's been a big one, and you don't have to run any wire. It shoots all the way up through 23 floors of skyscraper. Seems like a difficult thing to do, and especially in an elevator shaft, but not for Surefire. Elevator shafts through skyscrapers is no problem. We actually tested this on a skyscraper in Salt Lake City, and the guy who went up there with me, he just couldn't believe that it kept having signal. He's like, oh, the next floor we won't have signal. The next floor we won't. We went all the way to the top, 23 floors, and he kept having signal all the way down into the parking structure. So elevators are great. We also have used them in forklifts in warehouses where we put access control on the forklift. They have to badge in. In fact, we've done some of these at Epcom's locations in Syscom. They badge in so that they know that the person running the forklift is authorized to do it. Now, all of these are in addition to the gates and the doors and the things that a lot of you are doing already, but hopefully I'm getting you thinking about ways this can be used outside of the standard gates and doors, which of course this will make your gates and doors a lot easier, but it gives you an idea of what's possible outside of that. We also have a feature on our HVAC that I think you'll find very interesting, speaking of unique applications, and that is the ability to do one to multiple. So we have the ability to do one controller and multiple receivers. I have 8 on the picture there, but you can even do more than that. And all the channels, you have 8 channels going to each one. You can break them up how you will and wire them up however you need them. So a one to multiple, 8 out and 2 return relays is really helpful in a lot of situations. Like I said, this is used a lot in HVAC where you have, let's say, one thermostat that is controlling 10 rooftop units in a large open warehouse area or whatever. So this has been a very helpful product for us, but also used in irrigation. And some of the ones coming up, we have coming up, in fact, the serial data, the one there on the bottom, I've been out doing a lot of tests with, and I'm going to go do one this afternoon as well. But the serial data uses the same strong radio, we're talking about the same Surefire radio, and sends RS-45 and RS-232 signals. And this currently is in beta testing and will be commercial relatively soon. So if you guys have something that you're thinking maybe that serial data bridge would be helpful for you to be able to send RS-232 and RS-45 signals back and forth, let me know. We have them ready such that we could possibly get something out to you for a beta test. So anyway, we also have the Relay Pro coming out in the next few months. The Relay Pro has 8 relays. Now our previous relay bridge has 2 each direction. This actually has 8 each direction. 6 1 amp and 2 heavy duty 8 amp relays. So you have a total of 16 relays in an area where you have a lot of relays that need control. And the last one is our Access Pro. And that one I know is a name of another company. We might have to change that name, so that's what we've been calling it. but that has both the weekend and a new protocol called OSDP. So the OSDP, which allows you to add self-addressing as well as some more encryption to that protocol, is also available on the Access Pro and with relays and that kind of thing. And those will be coming up in a few months. But I just want to give you a glimpse into some of the things SureFi is doing and working on. And I want to tell you one other thing, and I don't know if anybody on here, anybody who's joined us, has used the SureFi units before. But one thing that we've noticed with the SureFi units is that the people who are using them, they love the units. But one thing the challenge that they found is that when you have control wire at a door, for example, let's say you're in a school and you're going to do a door at a school, the control wire you don't have to run anymore because you have SureFi. But what about the power wire? Sometimes they're having to fish that power wire clear over from somewhere else. Well, we've just recently developed and are currently installing in beta test, and we'll have available soon, a power pack, a power box that allows you to tie into the always on light, or the exit sign has its own backup battery, so it makes it legal to do that. You tie into there and you can run power directly at the door, so you don't have to run power line and you don't have to run signal line. You can get in there, get it done, and you're looking at just a few minutes at each door. So that'll be coming up very soon, called a power pack, or excuse me, the power box with SureFi, and we're excited about that one. All right. I'm going to take a few minutes and talk to you a little bit about the mobile app and the Cube. And this is something integrators really love. This has an app available on both the App Store and Google Play that allows you to connect to our units when they are powered up. And you can not only see what's happening with them, I've got a couple of screenshots down here, see what's happening with them. I'm going to jump down, here we go. And but you also can control relays, and you can see what your connections are doing and see what's happening with your Wiegand codes. So this is what happens when you pull up the app on your phone. And what you do is you pull that up, and I'm going to show you over here. You pull up the app. I've got my SureFi app right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little hard to see. But I've got my SureFi app, and that window is going to scan the SureFi unit right here. I'm going to push on here the Advanced Settings button, which is right here at the bottom, Advanced Settings. And it's going to tell me to hold down this button so that I can connect to the Wiegand bridge. So I'm now connected, and it's giving me this next page. And this page, which I'm going to pull up on the screen so you can see a little bit better, this page, there's the Advanced Settings button, gives you options. It says update firmware, pair and unpair bridge, allows you to do that from the field, operating values, configurations, troubleshooting. And the troubleshooting is one that allows you to actually open and close the relays. I'm going to show you that on the screen just really quickly. I can close this relay, and you'll see behind me the lights are changing because I'm opening and closing the relay from my phone on with the proof of presence, being able to check and make sure all the wiring's right. So there's that one. We also have the ability to check and see what the relays have been doing, see what their history is, what's happened 2 minutes ago. Because, you know, if you ever get a service call, they come out and say, hey, it's doing this, you go out and you can't get it to do it. Well, the SureFi app can actually look back and see what the system's been doing so that you can say, oh, you know what? An hour and a half ago, it did exactly what you're saying, because you can see that in the history. It also shows you what your Wiegand codes are, what attempts and successes and failures. It shows you configurations, how often you want the heartbeat, what do you want to happen if in a relay fail-safe situation, whether the LEDs are enabled, whatever, and so forth. So that app has really been a real popular thing. And one other thing that's really interesting is that you can actually call up our SureFi support line. You can pull up the app on your phone, and if you give them permission, they can look through your phone into the unit and tell you exactly what it's doing. So, you know, in review, SureFi can save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time, give you a competitive advantage. It's got a stronger signal than anything you'll see out there. It's amazing. I've been through 12 feet of concrete, 31 steel walls. People who have tested this can attest to how amazing the signal is. It also allows you to do a lot of things that you can't do with other things. We've got Wiegand relay HVAC products, as well as our variable voltage thermistor and milliamp with the analog product. It can do all those things that we talked about, and you can get creative with Surefire. We talked about a forklift application or an elevator or whatever. And then it allows you, when you're there, to get on the app, to see what's happening. And it really is an amazing product that have just caught a lot of momentum. Epcom has been a great partner with us, and we have really enjoyed working with them. And they are getting this rolling very quickly. So thank you so much. And what questions do you have for me at this point?
Thank you so much, John. We still don't have any questions, but please feel free to send us your questions on the right side panel that you got on your screen. You got a window that says questions, and you can just send us your inquiries through that panel. Please feel free to send us any comment.
Now, while we're giving people the opportunity to possibly ask questions or comments, let me tell you one other interesting story. We have some great installers, fantastic installers, and I learned so much from them. I talk to some of them even weekly, and they tell me how they're using the Surefire unit. And we, about a week and a half ago, went and did a car charger installation, which was really interesting. Sometimes you have electric cars and they have to pull up to a building and connect to charge. And a lot of large corporate buildings have that as a perk or as a benefit to working for that company. Well, what happens is sometimes people go and try to plug in their cars that don't work for that company, and they just think it's free power. Well, if this is a private charger, that company has to pay for that power. So adding access control to that, making the people who are in the company take their badge, swipe it to turn on the car charger, really was a win for us. So we actually installed 4 of those last week, and I've got another installer who is going to be installing some more next week or relatively soon. So anyway, there's just so many things to think about, ways to add access control and ways to add this strong signal to many, many industries. I'm looking forward to hearing what the great installers that work with Epcom can come up with. So. I am curious.
We got 2 questions at the moment. Can you see the question panel on your screen?
They're not showing on my screen, so would you please repeat them to me?
Yes, Mario Mazariegos is asking us about this product works with 802.11 standard.
Okay, so we're talking about a Wiegand standard, right?
Yes, let me send you this to your number.
Look at it.
This is from Mario. I'll send you this right now. One sec.
And so here's the thing. 802.11, if I remember correctly, is more of a local area network standard. Is that correct? So you're talking, that's more of a Wi-Fi thing. I apologize. I don't do Wi-Fi, but let me clarify if that is the case. 802.11, I believe, is a Wi-Fi local area network type of protocol. And so Surefire has its own radio signal. We do not jump onto Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a completely different signal and does not have the kind of range or obstruction penetration that Surefire signal does. We are on 900 megahertz, but we use what's called chirp spread spectrum and chirp modulation. And this allows us, it's kind of like sonar for whales and dolphins and things like that. They used this early in the 40s, but they didn't have the processing power until just recently to be able to make this work. And so Surefire has used this chirp modulation protocol on 900 megahertz to allow us to have our own signal, not relying on Wi-Fi, not relying on anything else, to send your signal throughout these buildings. And the good thing about that is, number one, Wi-Fi is not that reliable. At least it goes down all the time at my house, and it's also not very strong. Surefire has actually been used to send signal out, not only hundreds of feet, but also dozens of miles, so Wi-Fi would never be able to do that. So I think what you're referring to with the 802.11 protocols is a local area network and Wi-Fi, unless I understand that incorrectly. Victor, will you check and see if comments are being made on that, because I'm not getting those.
Yes, I'm sending you that to your phone. Maybe you can check there the comments of Mario.
Okay, I will pull that up just for a moment. But I believe, okay, as point to point. Okay, yeah, this is all going to my phone now. Okay, so Mario, let me just read the, Mario says, I'm trying to understand if it works with some proprietary technology as point to point. Yes, this is point to point and can be, and allows you with technology that is only used in SureFi, proprietary technology, to connect directly with our SureFi chirp modulation 900 megahertz system. And so it's not using any other radio. Hopefully that, if that makes sense. All right, there was a question following up that about interference 900 megahertz. That's a great question. And I went over this fairly quickly, but if we look back at our first slide in regards to the radio, there it is. Right here on the third bullet point, you'll see 72 channel hopping in OTAR. OTAR stands for over the air rekeying. Now, in case of any type of interference, it senses that interference and jumps to another channel. It also has rekeying every time that it sends a new signal. So it's very secure and very difficult to interfere with, and very difficult to get it to try to grab that signal and try to break it. In fact, they Facebook hired some engineers from Microsoft to try to crack our 128-bit AES encryption signal, and they couldn't do it. So very secure, but on 900 megahertz, we use our own proprietary chirp spread spectrum. So you don't have to worry about any kind of interference there, but also if there is any interference, we jump to a different channel. So hopefully that answers that question. Let me look at some of these other questions that I'm being sent. And Victor, thank you so much for sending these questions to me via my phone.
No problem.
Okay. Arshana asked, with the elevator example you mentioned and how people could wait inside the elevator until it's requested from another floor and just get off that floor. Okay, so that's called parking. What happens is you have somebody who's not supposed to be in the building, touch the, call the elevator, they walk into that floor, and then they sit in there until, let's say, floor 12 pushes the button, calls the elevator up, and then it opens the door at floor 12. Then the people who aren't supposed to be in the building walk out, and the other people walk in. How SureFi prevents this is that some elevators, they will have a card swipe on the inside in order to push the button, and that's fine, but it still won't prevent this. SureFi prevents this by requiring you to have a card and your credentials to even push the call to the elevator button. And so they can't come in, call the elevator, and just sit there and wait. They have to actually have their card to even push the call button in the lobby. I hope that that explains that, and that was Arshan. Okay. Let's see. A question from Avi, I think, and if I say your name wrong, I really apologize, so please forgive me. Can the units utilized for CCTV applications or just for access control? All right, the trade-off for the high penetration and heavy obstruction defeating long-range ability is that we are relatively low bandwidth. Now I say relatively because yes, we can send Wiegand protocols, we can send RS-45 and 232, which is more, but we've also just been working on and are in development with the serial data bridge to actually send voice. So within a few months, we should have a unit available that will allow you to do a telephone entry system where you can push the button, half duplex, push the button, say, hey, I'm here, will you open the gate or whatever. So a telephone entry system will be possible with that voice. And so it is a CCTV situation has too much data for us to go across the SureFi radio. It would be wonderful. I wish I could say that that's the truth, but we really are a medium to low, medium bandwidth type of product. And so we can do controls like relays, we can do Wiegand, we can do RS-45, RS-232, and we are processing and getting a situation ready so that we can also do voice. but that's at this point kind of the end of the type of bandwidth that we can provide. So hopefully that helps Avi's question. So Damon asks, how do you solve power without getting a trench to the site or to the door? Okay, so here's a couple of options for you. If you're looking at a gate that's out far away, of course, you know that gate operators either have to have power, so in that case, you'd already have power there, or if they are 12 volt and run off of batteries in a solar panel, we can also run off of that as well. So in a gate situation, the power is taken care of with whatever the gate operator is doing as well. For a door, we were just talking about, yes, you can pull power from anywhere in the building, but with this new power box that we have, you can tie into the required exit signs or always on light in the hall, and you can connect into that. It has its own backup battery, and this power box will allow you to use power right there. It has all the 12 volt DC out that you need to power everything. So this is going to be a great solution for you indoors, so you don't have to even run power wire to the door. You just connect the wire that's already there to the exit sign or the always on light, wire up the Surefire, wire up the card reader or whatever, door strike, and you're ready to go. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. I'm just trying to take these in order. Donovan asked a question, and so the serial. Okay. Donovan asked a question, and I'll just mention this. And I'm going to have my contact information here for you. I'd be happy to get with you and discuss getting some serial devices to your company. But he also asked, how does it communicate miles? And that's because of that proprietary chirp spread spectrum. That makes it so it goes a lot further than just 900 megahertz. We use it. It's like I said, we have 25 plus and counting different patents on this product, and it allows us to go distances that are unheard of. An extreme example is that we took this product from Winnemucca, Nevada to Ogden, Utah. It's 116 miles across the desert with a 9-volt battery. Now, that's not what we claim by way of what you could do, but if it's line of sight direct, that you can actually see, like mountaintop to mountaintop or from a tall tower to another tall tower, it will do 50 miles. So it really is quite amazing because of the proprietary technology that we have. Let's see, you're talking about RF interference when using multiple Surefire units together. All right, we've actually, this has been something that's great about this product, is that it comes paired from the factory, so it's only talking to its partner, and we have used, last I heard was about 70 units in a single application lined up next to each other, and there's no interference. That's because it has 72 channels of hopping plus rekeying, so it gives you many options, and those don't ever interfere with each other. We've been very fortunate with that, and of course that's something that we tested and worked out ahead of time. So no interference when using them with many units of other Surefire. So I have a picture I'd love to show you, but it's on a video I recently posted to surefire.com, and it's an HOA that has like 30 or so Surefire units stacked up right next to each other, controlling all the buildings doors, and it works just fine. So let me go back to, there's the next question. All right, Mario asked about WLAN transmission point per point. I hope I answered your question, Mario, on that. This is not Wi-Fi, and it's definitely point to point, and it's this 900 megahertz, and more importantly, chirp spread spectrum technology, which is what makes it so reliable. All right, bandwidth capacity. Okay, that we probably need to talk a little bit about that, Mario. This was also you, specifically because it depends on the application with the different chirp modulations and things like that. Physical interfaces, he asked, RS-232, RS-485. And of course, there are adapters that can go to different things. Like I've tried it with with an Ethernet cable, but it has to you have to make sure that it's not sending, local area network. That would be too much for the radio to send, but 232, 485 within reasonable ranges for the radio. So Raymond asked a question about, he said he had a customer who's skeptical about buying SureFi because they believe it doesn't work. I mentioned them about the evaluation kit to give them the confidence that it would work. Now, and then he asked, where can you purchase one? So if it's in the United States, if you will get on our website, surefi.com, and scroll to the bottom, it allows you to say, I am interested, and you can sign up for evaluation kit to come to you. You can then take it over to this customer, show them what the situation is, and we will send that to you free. Now, why are we sending it to you free? It's an investment on our part. It costs us about $100 to make this product. Why would we send you a $100 product free? Because we know when you try it that you'll use it again. I have people who have been skeptical. They get the evaluation kit, they go out and they're surprised. And so they order 1 unit. They're like, I'm going to give it a try. They install it, and then they order 5 units the next week because that was really easy. And then the next week they only use SureFi because they say, I can get so many more jobs done. So that's really what it comes down to. We're willing to invest a free unit to you because we are so confident with the signal, we're so confident with the product that we know that you'll use it. So great question. And that was Raymond or Ramona, and I apologize if I mispronounce it. Donovan asked, do the devices have their own built-in wireless broadcast system built into them, or does it require an external antenna or bridge? Okay, so there's no external bridge or antenna. Now, if you look at the picture that I've got up there on the board, and I don't know if you can see it, but right here at the top, and I'm going to try to circle it, right here at the top is kind of a zigzag line along the top of that card. I don't know if you can see that, but that is actually the antenna. It's a helical antenna that goes throughout the card, and that is the antenna that is able to go that far, which is amazing. There are some systems out there you have to run an external antenna and stick it up high and all that. This is all built in. We can get out of metal boxes, we can get out of Faraday cages with this system just with that antenna. So with that antenna, we can do those distances. Installers love that because they don't have to drill extra holes, hook up extra brackets, extra wires. It's all right there together. You connect it, you put it right in the box, you're done. So great question. All right. Okay, that answered that. And Ramon or Raymond, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. I got that you're interested in getting an RS-232 bridge, and so let me give you my information. And Victor, is there a way that we can send a message back out to everybody that has my information in it? I know that normally on this there's a chat, but I don't know. Oh.
No,
okay.
I think we can. I'll send you information on the email that we're going to send after the webinar with the recording of the webinar. So I'll add your information in that email.
And I just noticed that on the chat, April has put the link to get the free kit from SureFi. So the sign up to do that. And I would recommend we do it today. And I know all of you are remote, but if you can go click on that link, go to sure-fi.com and scroll to the bottom or /sign up. And while you're talking to me today, just get on there, put in your information, your address. It'll ask you for your cell phone, and that's only so we can verify that this is a real request. And you put in your cell phone information, they'll send you a little text that says, did you really ask for this SureFi unit? You're gonna say yes, and that evaluation kit will come out to you free of charge. And so thank you, April, for doing that. I really appreciate it. And Victor will also connect you with my information. But let me just tell you, I'm going to give you my cell phone number just right here in case so that you can get to me. And you're welcome to text or call. My cell phone number is 435-213-5779, 435-213-5779 to get to me directly, or go to any of your Epcom contacts. You all have Epcom branches that you use. they know how to get a hold of us. So if you say, oh, I forgot that and I don't know how to get a hold of John, or I can't do this, go to Epcom. They will help you. They've been great partners and great to work with. And they have these in stock, and they are fantastic at helping you solve things. And this brings me to another point. You have challenges, you have interesting situations that maybe you are not sure what Surefire product to use or how to use this the best. Take a piece of paper, draw it out. You can send it to me personally, you can send it to Epcom, you can send it to us and say, this is what I have, what do I need from Surefire to make this work? And they will help you put together a system. I will help you put together a system. If it's over my head, we have a whole panel of engineers that can look at it and say, okay, this is how we need to do this. And that's one value that Surefire offers you. You don't have to figure it out. You just have to bring the challenge to us, and we will help you with that challenge. And we'll design it for you and send it back. So I got another question from Francisco. He says he's from Puerto Rico, really interested in the evaluation kit. Any chance it can be forwarded or maybe requested online? We are working with some designers. We'd like to make those presentations. All right. This is where I'm going to refer to Victor. We've been talking a lot about this between us, and Epcom has some thoughts about how they want to do this. That is, Epcom is the actual exporter of their products, and so Surefire is not allowed legally to send that out. But if you will please talk to your local Epcom person, whether that's Victor, April, or your local salesperson. I don't know if, see in Costa Rica, I don't know if you work with Miami or who you work with, but talk to Epcom and they will tell you what they are going to come up with to help you get those products for your testing. So that one, Francisco, I'm going to have to push off to Epcom and let them help you with that, because outside of the United States, we can't legally send those, but they are exporters and they have the ability to figure out how that works. Hopefully that answered that question. I think I have hit all the questions. I'm just checking on my cell phone to make sure that I have answered all the questions that have come through. Mario, if you would please contact me in regards to your question, because there's some more details that we need to get to figure out about the bandwidth, capacity, and modulation, et cetera. I believe,
I think that was the last question, and I already sent your information to Mario. Also, we're gonna send John information in the following up email with the presentation and the video of this webinar. So feel free to contact us into that email. Also, we're gonna add the email from April. So feel free to contact us to those two emails. Okay.
Victor, thank you so much, and I'm going to send this back to you. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do it. Just a minute. But I really appreciate everyone attending today. And Victor, thank you so much for you organizing this and making this work. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to try to send this back over. All right, that's, Victor, is there a way that you can take that back, or do I have to send it? I'm going to make you the presenter. There we go. All right. If there are any other questions, please forward that. Oh, there was one other question, excuse me. On the side of the controller, in the side of the controller, I understand the all complete connection. Okay. We can relay inside the controller where they send the information to the master controller. Okay. So what happens with this, he was asking, so in these presentations, you're seeing one side. If you go, let me go to the next. The question was how this exactly connects. In this slide, you see there's a controller side here, controller interface, and below it is a Wiegand interface, the Wiegand remote interface. So the controller interface goes back at your controller where wherever you normally would wire in your, your credentials, your two-door panels, wherever you wired that into your controller, that's where the controller interface would go. And it has two relays and a Wiegand, and then the remote interface goes out by your door or your gate or wherever that is, and it also has Wiegand input and two more relays. So there's a total of 4 relays, and there's 2 units, and that can be a little confusing because I show you just 1 unit of each thing. There's 2 units, which basically takes away the wire and talks to each other with this signal, and that's why we're agnostic to system. We can connect with any system because all we do is replace the wire and send the signal wirelessly. And a lot of times they can't, well, the systems can't even tell they're connected wirelessly. So great question. Nick, paid license or operation? No, this is a one-time purchase. People will love that. They hate having to pay a monthly sales fee, right? This is a one-time purchase, and there's no monthly fee, no licensing. This is a one-time purchase, and you're done. Okay, I think that we've got them all. All right, thank you so much for all of your questions. Great questions, and I'm sure you might have a few others. Victor and April have given you all the information to connect to me. Happy to help you in any way we can, and would love to make SureFi part of making you a more effective presenter, excuse me, a more effective installer, and a more effective and better earning company. We really want you to be successful, and SureFi has been a way to do it for a lot of companies. So thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for attending. And he pretty much said it all. Get the free kit. We're emphasizing that because it's a great opportunity for you guys to test it out. And also, if you have any projects, we have all the sales representative. They're very knowledgeable. John is willing to work out with everybody on a case-to-case basis, and we'll help you out. We have the stock, which is the most important question of all. And feel free to contact us. Thank you so much, John.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, April. Thank you, John. Okay, so we'll be sending this presentation to your email. Thank you so much for being here this morning with us, and we hope that we can have you in the future webinars that we're going to have with SureFi. So thank you so much, and have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.